Hi, I'm Nic Granger. I'm Chief Information and Financial Officer for the North Sea Transition Authority. At the North Sea Transition Authority, we regulate and influence elements of offshore energy, which is oil and gas, carbon storage, and hydrogen. So our role is to accelerate the energy transition, reduce emissions, and ensure energy security. So a couple of different ways. Firstly, internally, we're doing what I'm sure a load of people are doing in terms of efficiency. So how can we use tools like Copilot to make people's working day better? And then externally, part of our role is to create the conditions for industry. So we've got huge amounts of data. We've got over a petabyte of industry data. So we're making sure that that's high quality, is in the right format, is provided in a portal that people can access to be able to then use that for AI themselves. And we're seeing some really exciting things that industry are doing with that data through the use of AI. I don't think this is going to be unique, but data quality. So with a petabyte of data, we're always going to have some that isn't the quality that we need it to be. But the types of data that we have got are quite broad. So when people are using that data for AI, there are all lots of different aspects that you need to consider in terms of data quality. So volume's just not enough. You need the volume, but you also need that volume to be high quality. So definitely data quality is probably our top challenge. So I think the general concerns that people have in terms of cybersecurity, anytime that you're holding large quantities of data, you want to make sure that you're holding that in a secure way. But I think with AI as well, it's also how can AI be used to potentially attack companies in a different way. So we're making sure that our approach is to be secure by design. And whilst we're doing that, addressing any concerns in terms of cybersecurity overall. So I think with AI, we're only just, as a whole sector, right, starting to understand some of the ethical considerations. Now, we're possibly to a slight advantage in that we're not talking about use of personal data, and a lot of the ethical considerations are in the personal data space. But again, for me, it is going back and making sure that that data hasn't got any bias in it, so that when people are using AI to then make decisions, that isn't biased in a way that has been skewed by the types of data. So really interested to see how AI can be used to extract data from some unstructured PDFs where we know that there's data in there that can be used. So we're only starting to look at the possibilities there. But I think if we can do things with extracting data from PDF files or files that we've already got, it means that we don't have to go back to the industry and ask for that data again. And I think that can be a really good way that we can use things like Gen AI for a really good benefit for our purpose. Return on investment is a really difficult one, right? So there are different aspects. Are we using AI for cost reduction as an organization? It's not our primary purpose. Our primary purpose is to add value. So for us, whether that's accelerating the energy transition or reducing emissions or ensuring production for energy and energy security, those are our value measures. So how can we ensure that when we're using any technology, but AI in particular, that we're doing that to add value, to ensure that we get our equivalent of return on investment in an organization where our focus is mission-led as opposed to cost or profit-led. So we have created in-house what we call our Digital Academy. We're a small organisation, so that academy signposts people to other resources, and we're starting to see much more of a call for AI-specific learning, but we've also got quite a lot of learning around data. So that link again between making sure that you've got quality data that you can then use for AI is really important. So we're definitely seeing data visualization, AI, and data literacy as a whole as being sections that people are asking for in terms of the Digital Academy. In industry, we're then seeing that actually there's a need for skills So people see data as a value adder in industry. They see digital tools as a cost reduction measure. So those two areas go hand in hand. You've got to make sure that you've got those skills to be able to deal with both aspects. Work out what challenges you're trying to solve rather than looking to adopt AI for the sake of adopting AI. You've got to have a problem that you've got in your organization that you've not been able to solve, or you can solve, but it's been really complicated. Look at those challenges and focus on how new technologies can help you do those rather than trying to implement AI for the sake of it. I think it already is, right? So most people are going to be using embedded AI tools without necessarily even knowing. So expense apps, if you've got one, are recognizing photos and extracting data from it. That's a form of AI. So there, you've got that as a starting point, all the way through to organizations that are proactively understanding that they're using AI. So I don't think there's a future for enterprise IT that doesn't involve AI, but I do think we need to manage that, consider the ethics, as mentioned earlier, and make sure that what we're actually delivering is useful to the organization.